Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So for today's video, we're going to focus on a relatively simple fragrance style that I think works for most people and is often, maybe not always, but often one of the better or more popular fragrances from a brand. This is going to be clean fragrances. These fragrances will have you smelling like the cleanest person in the room. Now, sometimes these fragrances can be interpreted as a little boring, and you know what, to be honest, sometimes that is true, but I would say that is not the case for the fragrances I got here today. Clean can be presented in a variety of different ways, so it is actually a fragrance style that is not as boring as it sounds. You just have to find the things that have something that make it a little bit more interesting, in my opinion. That was certainly the case for me, because when I first started collecting, I thought these types of fragrances were relatively boring, but I found out that that is certainly not the case. So got 10 fragrances here that will have you smelling like the cleanest person in the room. And the thing is, smelling clean will almost always work 99% of the time. Nothing's absolute, but 99% of the time, if you have a fragrance on where overall you smell fresh and clean, people will like it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and you like the content, and please hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off with one from Mason Francis Kirkjohn. This is Aqua Celestia Forte. Mason Francis Kirkjohn, Aqua Celestia Forte. All right, so this is actually my wife's bottle, so the dent, the massive dent in it is mostly hers, so full transparency on that. She got this fragrance around the time when I first started collecting, and as I stated in the intro, I wasn't really a fan of fresher, cleaner smelling fragrances at the time, but I have a full appreciation for this scent now. And the thing is, she used to tell me, she doesn't really wear it as much anymore. She's got some other things, but she used to tell me, it's like, this thing got crazy amount of compliments. And just FYI, for this fragrance in particular, this one has some pretty good longevity on it. This one kind of has a lime-like citrus characteristic. It's quite tangy as well. I think black currant or something like that might be in this fragrance. Does kind of have a little bit of a fresh, soapy vibe, but it doesn't smell like soap outright. It just kind of has that cleanly nature to it, almost like a clean linen kind of characteristic to it. There's some musk in here. It's very, very fresh, very vibrant, and a little bit juicy as well, and it kind of has that clean linen smell, as I stated. This fragrance here, I would imagine, could work for just about anyone. The only thing is, it may be a style that maybe you just don't like, but all that being said, this is a very effective, clean fragrance. Anytime I've worn it, I've smelled fresh and clean throughout the day. I haven't worn it enough to like see how it does with compliments for myself, but as I stated, my wife was wearing it like every day for a long time, and so she got plenty of compliments. The more often you wear a fragrance, the more you can kind of find out its compliment potential, but obviously I'm wearing different fragrances all the time, but that is neither here nor there. Great, fresh, and clean fragrance. If that's something that you're going for, this might be one worth checking out, because from Mason Francis Kirkjohn overall, this is not one that really gets a whole lot of buzz. So once again, from Mason Francis Kirkjohn, this is Aqua Celestia Forte. All right, moving on. Next one's going to be coming from Arabian Oud. This one here is Diwan. Arabian Oud Diwan. A completely different, fresh, and clean characteristic here, which is the point of the video. This one here you're going to find to be kind of slightly fruity, but fresh and spicy, and overall woody, slightly ambery, maybe a little bit of a musky feel in here, but overall it's kind of fresh and spicy and woody, and just a touch of a fruity vibe to kind of take it away from it just being that. Kind of adds that X factor. I think that slight fruitiness, where it's not too much, it's not overbearing, and it's not ridiculously sweet, is what kind of sets this fragrance apart from maybe other fresh, woody fragrances, fresh, spicy, woody fragrances. This stuff smells amazing. As far as I'm concerned, any guy can rock this, and if a woman wants to wear a scent like this, she can pull it off as well. Again, you're gonna smell fresh and clean with this. This one doesn't really smell soapy at all, in my opinion, but it is clean. There's nothing really dirty about it. There's nothing really aggressive about it. It just smells great, and it does what it does in a great way, and also longevity with this one is really, really good as well. So once again, from Arabian Oud, this one here is Diwan. All right, guys, next one's going to be coming from Chanel. This is going to be Chanel Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. Chanel Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. Somebody asked me a while ago, is this fragrance not really discontinued, but was it a limited edition? I think that is true. I think that is definitely the case. I looked at my local department stores last time I was there to see if I could see this fragrance. I did not see it, and I saw the original Allure Homme Sport and one of the other ones there, like the cologne and all that. So I do think this was a limited edition. So I apologize if this was something you wanted to look into, but I think most people thought this was maybe too expensive for what it is, and I gave my reasons a long time ago why I like it. First off, what is this? It's going to be a little more rough around the edges, less creamy version of the original Chanel Allure Homme Sport. Very mandarin-like citrus. It's kind of tangy and tart and sharp, and a very clean, woody nature to it. This one in particular has this very slight kind of watery feel to it, or marine feel to it. Maybe a little bit of musk just sprinkled in there to kind of soften it a little bit. Cedarwood, sandalwood, the woods used here. I think this fragrance smells very fresh and clean and woody and masculine. But it wasn't so much to highlight just this scent. It was really to talk about sports fragrances. Sports fragrances in general have a clean smell. That's kind of their whole being, if you will. You know, something that you can wear and be athletic in, but it's not too heavy. It smells fresh. It smells clean. Kind of counters you smelling like sweat and BO. I think this fragrance accomplishes that. I think a majority of sport fragrances, in a way, can accomplish the same thing. So sport fragrances are often really great choices for a lot of guys because they smell fresh, clean, and if they're a masculine scent, which, you know what, I got a question. Are there sport fragrances for women? I actually have no idea. I gotta look that up. That was just a random thought that popped into my head. That being said, fresh and clean with a sport fragrance is usually something you can get. So once again, from Chanel, this is Allure Homme Sport Superleggera. All right, let's move on. Next one's coming from Get Right Fragrances. This is Clean Team Signature. Get Right Fragrances, Clean Team Signature. So this one's here is going to be a little bit of that masculine office vibe where you're smelling fresh, you're smelling clean, you're smelling a little bit authentic, you're smelling very well put together. This one has some citrus elements. It's really heavy on the florals, a very kind of clean and fresh powdery floral feel. A little bit of that cashmere wood, kind of fuzzy cashmere woodiness to the base of the scent. Really good stuff here, but overall it does smell a little bit soapy, but not like too much, if that makes sense. But yeah, you're gonna smell fresh and clean with something like this. And again, this one is just like the quintessential office vibe scent, particularly if you're dressing at least business casual. And if you're wearing a suit, this fragrance definitely works well for that. Kind of signature scent worthy, if you will. And you know, often, I didn't even think about that before, signature scent style fragrances, typically a lot of them have a fresh and clean and maybe even a soapiness to them. Not all of them, but a number of ones that would work really well for a lot of guys have that quality to them. This one here, no different. So once again, from Get Right Fragrances, this is Clean Team Signature. All right, guys, next one's going to be coming from Amouage. It is Reflection Man. Amouage Reflection Man. I'm sure many of you guys know this scent well. Still one of the most popular, most easily accepted fragrances from Amouage. And I think the thing that allows for that to be is the fact that it is fresh, it's clean, it's easy to wear, it's easy to digest for a lot of guys. And something I kind of meant to mention earlier is fragrances that have those qualities tend to attract most guys head on because they figure, hey, that's something that's easy. It's not something I have to get used to. It's not something that's going to throw me off. Everybody can associate with smelling fresh and clean, but the good thing is there's different ways of doing that. This one here, very heavy on the florals as well. Lots of neroli in this. There's some jasmine. It's quite creamy. It's a little bit woody. Has a slight green spiciness to it. Some mandarin-like qualities as well. Smells very much like, to me, like a CEO's private bathroom soap, hand soap, if you will. It's very luxurious smelling, in my opinion. Same thing with Clean Team Signature. Very much has that office-like vibe, especially if you are dressing up, boss level kind of scent here. But it smells fresh and clean. and it doesn't smell generic. And that's why what I really wanted to highlight in this video is fresh and clean can come in a variety of different ways. And I think the fact that Reflection Man has those qualities is partly what made this fragrance so popular with so many people, and is kind of the gateway fragrance, if you will, to the House of Amouage. So once again, this one here is Reflection Man. All right, next one's gonna be coming from Louis Vuitton. This is Imagination. Louis Vuitton, Imagination. So another very, very popular fragrance from the House of Louis Vuitton. I don't know if this is the most popular, but it's one of the most popular fragrances. And I'm gonna stand by it again. I think it is one of the most popular ones because of its ease of wear due to it being kind of a fresh and clean scent. Most people might know this as a tea fragrance. That is certainly accurate. You've got a little bit of citrus here, some tea, some spice with Ceylon cinnamon, loads of ambroxan in the fragrance, which is something that for a lot of people is easy to wear. Some people, ambroxan, they can't stand it, but there's lots of it in this scent. There's also some neroli in this fragrance, which I think adds a slight soapy characteristic to the scent. And I think what makes this scent so popular is that soapy quality. The good thing about it though is it's not like hitting you over the head. It's there, but it's not too strong. But overall, very easy to wear, fresh, relatively clean fragrance, nothing really dirty or hard to digest about this fragrance. And that's why I think it is one of the most popular ones from the House of Louis Vuitton. So once again, from Louis Vuitton, this is Imagination. All right, moving on. Next one's coming from Tom Ford. This is Beau De Jour. Tom Ford, Beau De Jour. So many would classify this fragrance as a modern take on an aromatic fougere, very smooth, cleaner take on a classic barbershop scent. A lot of great barbershop fragrances out there. They have you smelling fresh and clean, but they're maybe a little bit aggressive, if you will. This one kind of presents that very DNA in a softer tone. Loads of lavender in this fragrance, which is something that definitely can attribute to a fragrance smelling fresh. I mean, lavender as a scent in general is kind of associated with freshness and cleanliness. And this one also has some oak moss kind of adding a little bit of a bite to it, a little bit of ambery characteristics to the scent to smooth it out, make it a little bit more modern, a little bit warmer, not quite as sharp and aggressive, if you will. But yeah, this fragrance pretty much smells like that classic barbershop style fragrance. And I wanted to highlight a barbershop fragrance in general because that's pretty much the vibe they're going for. The whole idea of a barbershop fragrance is you smell like you just came from the barbershop. You just had a clean cut, a clean shave, and there were products applied to your skin or your hair after the fact to kind of keep that cleanly smell present. So that's pretty much the case with this fragrance. That's pretty much what it smells like. Anytime you're wearing a barbershop fragrance, in my opinion, for the most part, you're going to smell fresh and clean to some degree. So once again, from Tom Ford, this is Beau De Jour. All right, next one's going to be coming from Guerlain. This is Vetiver. Guerlain Vetiver, this is the eau de toilette. This fragrance inspired so many fragrances after it established a genre, if you will, of vetiver fragrances. Vetiver, not always fresh and clean, but a lot of times that is kind of the base driver note for a lot of very fresh and clean fragrances, but it is a style that not everybody is used to. That being said, my wife literally calls this fragrance Clean Shirt. That's her name for it. So she obviously interprets it as something that smells fresh and clean, loves it when I wear this with a white shirt. This one has some very sharp citruses to it. Another quality to fragrances that can sometimes add to that freshness, if you will. A little bit of nutmeg-like spice in this. It's mostly an easy to digest, grassy, clean vetiver, not overly smoky. A little bit of some other qualities to this scent that makes it smell maybe a little bit dated, to be completely honest. Makes it smell very, very mature, but there's no denying that this scent DNA is fresh and clean and inspired so many DNAs after it to achieve that very same thing with their own spin on it. So once again, from Guerlain, this is Vetiver. All right, next one, coming from Brioni, this is Brioni Eau de Parfum. Brioni Eau de Parfum. Brioni, suit maker, fine suit maker, top quality suit maker, expensive stuff. Their fragrances are meant to kind of go with the kind of clothing that they make. I think this one certainly fits that bill. This one is a fresh violet heavy fragrance. Violet is another one of those kind of classic notes, maybe more so from, I don't know the exact time period, but I think there's some popular 90s or maybe even 80s fragrances that feature a lot of violet. Someone feel free to correct me on that. I didn't do the research before I started the video, but I know that that exists. I think gray flannel was one of those fragrances, but this fragrance is in a different way. Very, very fresh, very, very clean. Just has a very distinct quality to it, maybe a little bit more of an ozonic feel to it. There's some slight fruity notes to this scent. There's clean woods. I think there's ambroxan. There's some musky characteristics. This fragrance definitely has that fresh, clean, professional vibe. Very elegant smelling. That's why I say could go well with a suit. Certainly business casual kind of dress. If that's your work environment, this fragrance would go well with that. So that's why I wanted to feature this one, particularly because it does feature that violet, which is something completely different than what I've talked about before, but further highlights the point that fresh and clean can come in a variety of different ways. So once again, from Brioni, this is Brioni Eau de Parfum. All right, and last but certainly not least, this is from John Varvatos. It is Artisan Pure. John Varvatos, Artisan Pure. This is actually my scent of the day today, so I got this on right now. And, this fragrance here, very much a popular scent in the community. As far as I know, with the Artisan line of fragrances, it is the most popular one in the community. I don't know how it does on sales. I don't know if it's their best-selling one, but this stuff is awesome. A little bit of an orange flavoring. I think the official note is clementine. Okay, it's orange flavored kind of note. Has this kind of slight woody, fresh woody characteristic to it. Overall woody fragrance as well. Fresh, a little bit green, kind of has a vacation vibe to it. I love the stuff. This one I wanted to highlight simply because it doesn't always have to be soapy. It doesn't always have to be something that smells like an office scent. This one very much smells like a chill, high heat summertime vacation scent, and so it also achieves that very same thing, and I think that's why this one is the most popular one. The original Artisan, which I do have and I don't really want anymore, a little bit more of the fruity orange characteristic to it, leaning into that a little bit more. It's a little bit sweeter overall. I'm not really that big of a fan of that one. That one actually does have a fresh and clean vibe, but it just goes too far into the fruity direction. It kind of smells like bathroom air freshener, in my opinion. This one is a little bit more balanced overall, doesn't lean into that too much, and frankly has a much better natural smell to it. So that's why I wanted to highlight this one. Fresh and clean, very popular, great scent. Once again, from John Varvatos, this is Artisan Pure. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. If you would, let me know down in the comments below what are some of your favorite fresh and clean fragrances, and are you a fan of that genre? Would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you all in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.